Let's continue the conversation now. With us is Joel Rubin. He is the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State and author of the briefing book on Substack. Joel, good to see you.
You too, Fred.
What's with these tensions between India and Pakistan right now boiling over like this?
Yeah, Fred, the miscalculation risk, as Nick points out, is incredibly high. This has been a simmering conflict and tension between these two countries, goes back decades. I remember when I served earlier at the State Department of Military Affairs, when there was a near conflagration in 2002. Up to the line of control went India, and Dick Armitage, then our Deputy Secretary of State, flew out to Pakistan and tried to cool the nerves a little bit there. And I think that's what we need right now. We need more aggressive American diplomacy. We need American leadership to lean in. We have turmoil right now, unfortunately, at our National Security Council. It doesn't make it any easier, but this could always explode into a nuclear exchange. And that's the big fear, is that these two countries, they have between them several hundred nuclear weapons. And if they were to unleash them, it could be devastating, not just for them, but globally.
So you say the U.S. ought to be concerned about the rift between the two countries, but then how concerned does the U.S. need to be about any kind of political instability, particularly inside Pakistan?
Well, without a doubt, that's fueling much of the extremism we see. And, there's a long history of terrorist groups coming out of Pakistan, going into Afghanistan, going into India, of course, and the military and the intelligence services of Pakistan as well have been very allied with groups like Al-Qaeda in the past and the Taliban. And so that is fueling much of the moment that we're experiencing right now. But again, if the United States, if we don't work with our allies aggressively and publicly and try to get our ally, Pakistan as well, to calm their internal political situation, these kinds of back and forths are going to continue incessantly. Remember, we have a deep relationship with Pakistan despite the tension, as well as with India. We should be able to turn them back from the brink.
All right. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is now also the interim national security advisor after Mike Waltz was removed from the job. Is this a reflection of Trump's confidence in Rubio that he now has really 4 titles? There are 3 other interim jobs in addition to him being Secretary of State.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't get any more because his plate is beyond full. Marco Rubio, he's clearly talented and clearly has the confidence of the president, but this is just too much. We need a National Security Council that's run by another individual who coordinates all of the agencies, the Treasury Department, Justice, Defense, State, to get the best national security advice to the president. My fear with what we're watching right now, however, is a downsizing of the NSC, the National Security Council, which will actually make it much more dangerous for us in the world. Marco Rubio, he has the State Department bureaucracy to manage, but we need all aspects of American power dealing with international crises. And if we get rid of the NSC or weaken it to the point where it's not coordinating, it's going to be very dangerous for our ability to project power around the world.
That graphic showing he's wearing a lot of hats, so to speak, with those many job titles. Can he effectively do that? I mean, can you make an impact, if not in one area, but in all simultaneously?
I think it's incredibly challenging to do that. We've had this experience once before in the 70s with Henry Kissinger. He was National Security Advisor, but it was a totally different environment.
He's now doing
then.
more than, Henry Kissinger.
Yeah, I mean, Henry Kissinger was advising, and he had a very skeleton staff. Now the National Security Council, it's like an agency. And so running 2 major agencies, essentially cabinet-level agencies, simultaneously, that's just not right. That's bad management. That's not going to give the advice to the president or inside these agencies on how to do their job effectively. And so I think for Secretary Rubio, he's clearly talented, but this is not going to maximize his skill set at all, and it's going to harm the nation as well.
All right, let's talk about the Iran nuclear talks. They were supposed to happen today, but now it's been postponed. How concerned are you about that?
I think this is a really tricky bouncing ball to try to understand what President Trump's policy is. One day it's maximum pressure. The next day he's going to have talks and he's going to make economic cooperation with Iran. He opposed the Barack Obama's nuclear deal, got rid of it, pulled us out of it, and now it looks like he wants to negotiate an identical one to that. I just don't know what the vision is. I think he's scaring the Israelis, our allies in Israel. The region does not want another war, but it does not want an Iranian nuclear weapon. We need some clarity on what the goals are for this diplomacy. If it's to prevent an Iranian nuclear weapon, great, but let's see what that looks like. And let's also deal with other issues that Iran is engaged in around the region, like support for terrorism and other bad activity. I just don't know what the policy is, and I think that's really concerning right now.
All right. Joel Rubin, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Fred.